Jack for Jesus, I lift with Christ. Jack for Jesus, I always stay diced. Jack for Jesus, I live in the gym. Jack for Jesus, my gains are for him. Call me John Cena, here's a Christianomics lesson. Who hit the PR that could get us into heaven? He lifted the weight of sin to eternally free us. He died on a cross and his name is Jesus.
How's it going, everybody? This is Nick here from Lift with Christ, where we got two goals: getting swole and saving souls. And if you're somebody that agrees with that statement, make sure you smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any uploads here on my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be taking you through my shoulder workout. And this exercise, we're starting off with a dumbbell shoulder press. The reason I like to start off with this is because I get a lot more range of motion doing dumbbells preferred to a barbell or a machine. So I usually make this my first exercise on my shoulder day. Notice I'm starting off with the dumbbells, and as I'm lifting them, I try to keep them parallel to or behind my ears. That way I'm focusing more on my shoulders than I am compared to my upper chest. And for this next exercise, we are now going into dumbbell shrugs. I'm somebody that I prefer to get my heavier exercises out of the way first, and then go into my lighter and isolation exercises later in my workout. As you can see here, I'm going for a squeeze when I do this exercise. Whenever I pinch my shoulders up at the top, I try to hold it for about half a second. That way those muscle fibers are holding the weight of the dumbbells that I'm squeezing, and whenever I do that, I notice I build more muscle. Now for the next exercise here, I am going into dumbbell side raises. The reason I like to do dumbbell side raises for the first exercise for my deltoid is because side raises hit the medial part of the deltoid, and the reason why I try to target that muscle group compared to the three heads of the deltoid, your front delt, your medial delt, and your rear delt, is because I tend to find that the medial part of the delt is what makes up most of your deltoid, which is why I tend to do this one earlier in my workout routine. Notice when I'm doing this exercise, I'm taking the dumbbells and I'm putting it underneath my legs. That way I'm getting more range of motion when I do that exercise. And here we are going into the isolation dumbbell front raises. The reason I love this exercise and why I do it isolation is because I tend to find I could do more weight whenever I'm doing an isolation, and I could focus more on each arm compared to doing them both at the same time. Whenever I do this exercise as well, I try to make sure that the dumbbell is above my eyes. Again, the key word, range of motion. I try to get as much range of motion whenever I do my exercises, because the more range of motion you get, the more muscle fibers you hit, and the more muscle fibers you hit, the more muscle you are going to build. Now onto the next exercise, we are now going into the rear delt extension. Notice for this exercise, I'm just putting my chest on the machine for this exercise, and I have the rest of my body back. The reason I do that is because I like to make sure that I'm hitting as much of the rear delt as possible. And whenever you do this exercise, it is very crucial or important because your rear delt is such a tiny muscle, but it also makes up such a big portion of your deltoid, and it gives you that nice capped look. So whenever I do this exercise, I try to aim for 20 reps. And the reason I do that is because I really try to beat the heck out of this muscle group. That way, whenever I do more reps for this exercise, it helps me compensate, because on my physique personally, I've noticed that my front delts are very dominant compared to my rear delts. And now moving on to our next exercise, we are doing cable upright rows. Now if you notice, whenever I do this exercise, again, range of motion. Notice how high I'm pulling up the cables whenever I'm doing this exercise. I try to make sure that I'm pulling it up to above my eyelids. And the reason I do that is because I tend to find a lot of people stop around their neck, and they're missing out on a lot of extra muscle fibers that they could be targeting when doing this exercise. Whenever I do this one as well, I try to get a nice squeeze very briefly at the top, and you can really feel your traps pinching when you do this exercise. And this is an awesome exercise to do toward the end of your workout to get that extra blood flow into your muscles. Yeah, notice I'm not in a rush, just taking my time. I didn't get as much range of motion there. I'm starting to, you could tell I'm starting to gas out here a little bit. But that is okay, because half reps are better than no reps.
Jack for Jesus, I lift with Christ. Jack for Jesus, I always stay diced. Jack for Jesus, I live in the gym. Jack for Jesus, my gains are for him.
Alrighty, and for the next exercise, I'm going to be doing machine shoulder presses. Personally, I always like to do two types of press movements during my shoulder day. I like to do my first one at the beginning of my workout, which is with dumbbells, and then toward the end of my workout, perhaps like 45 minutes or 1 hour in, I like to do a second press movement. So for my second press movement, I chose to do a shoulder press. The reason I love pressing is because not only does it target your traps, but you're also hitting your front delts as well. And I tend to find that whenever you're doing a shoulder press movement, it hits the most amount of muscle fibers in your traps as well as your deltoids. Notice I'm going for nice and slow and controlled reps whenever I do this. Getting a nice squeeze at the top and slow on my way down. Remember, weights are just a tool to get stronger. It's mostly about the muscle tension that you put on those muscles. And lastly, for our finisher, we are doing single arm cable side raises. And the reason I like to conclude with this exercise is because, like I said at the beginning of this video, I tend to find that the medial part of the deltoid is the most prominent part. So I like to do two types of side raises whenever I do my shoulder training. And the reason I like to do the cables is because you can get nice controlled reps whenever you do the cables. And personally, I find it as a great way to finish off your shoulder training. Notice how I keep the cable behind my back whenever I do this exercise. The reason I keep the cable behind my back is because I'm able to get that extra range of motion whenever I do this exercise. And like I've been saying throughout this whole video, the more range of motion you get, the more of a stretch you're going to get in your muscles, the more muscle fibers you're going to hit, and the more muscle you are going to build.
Call me John Cena. Here's a Christianomics lesson. Who hit the PR that could get us into heaven?
Also notice how each rep is nice and controlled. I'm trying to focus on that muscle-mind connection and really getting that pinch and that squeeze in my deltoids. Does God have a plan for you to be jacked and tan? If so, for a limited time, I am currently offering free fitness consultations where you can hop on a Zoom call with me. During our Zoom call, we are going to go over what areas are currently holding you back from achieving the physique of your dreams, and I'm going to help guide you to get on the right path by setting you up on a personalized meal plan and workout routine to help you achieve the body of your dreams. Spots are currently limited, so make sure you click the link in the description to schedule your one-on-one Zoom call with me today. Because at Lift with Christ, we've got two goals: getting swole and saving souls. And if you're someone that wants to join the movement, I am currently offering 10% off of all merchandise on my online store. If you're someone that needs pre-workout, BCAAs, creatine, protein powder, or wants to rep the best Christian fitness apparel on the market today, my online store has everything that will cover your fitness needs. So waste no time. If you want to hop on a Zoom call with me or rep some merch, click the link down below or go on my website, liftwithchrist.org. Because there's no debating, even when the demons are hating, that with a sick pump, you can take down Satan. So make sure you subscribe if you want to catch me again in my next video. And if you're someone that gained value from today's video, make sure you put swole gains in the comments. God bless to each and every single one of you, and I will see you again in the next video. Take care now.